guys, it's Marie, you're watching Booksville, and this isn't Evie. Hi! So, today we thought we'd give each other some book recommendations and recommend them to you guys as well while we're here. For those of you who don't know, this is Evie. She is my flatmate. I live in the room behind.
This is my room.
This is her room because it's a lot tidier than mine. And the background's a lot prettier. We both are big book fans.
Yep.
We found this out our first week here. Where we both had a conversation together until like
3 AM.
Yeah, early hours in the morning about
books.
Which is good from a book lover point of view.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a lovely conversation. 3 AM conversations are a very good way to get to know people.
So, book recommendations. Evie is a big fan of contemporary and YA contemporary, so the majority of books she reads are that.
And Marie's kind of, she's more sci-fi, but like some teen sci-fi, some actual sci-fi, and then more... What's The Hobbit? Is that sci-fi?
It's high fantasy.
Oh, okay. More fantasy type books.
So we thought we'd recommend books to take each other out of our comfort zones. The first book is a book that Evie recommended me that I've already read, which some of you may remember. It was
Amy Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson, which is amazing. So it's about this girl called Amy who ends up on a road trip with Roger, and their road trip is like set in stone by her mother, but they've decided to mix it up a little bit and go wherever takes their fancy.
Yeah, it was a good book, and I'm glad it was recommended to me.
Yeah, I love it.
My turn to recommend to you. The first one I have is a high fantasy book. It is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. That's right.
Yeah. No bars.
So many R's. I really like this book. It's about a hobbit, really, clearly, title, yeah. And he doesn't want to go on adventures, he just wants to stay at home and just be a good hobbit. But then Gandalf arrives, and he isn't cool with that. So he makes Bilbo go on a journey and have adventures and have fun. And the story is so good, they put it into 3 films. That's a sign of a good story right there.
I used to work in a bookshop and people would go, have you got Hobbits 2? Still Hobbit 1. Still the same book.
And why have you not read it yet, Evie?
I don't know. My next book recommendation is If You Find Me by Emily Murdoch, which is amazing. I got given the proof because I used to work in a bookshop and I read it so fast, like about 3 AM in the morning. And when the actual book came out, there was an extra chapter, so I have 2 copies of this book because I love it that much. It's an amazing book about Carrie and her little sister Janessa, who end up in the woods all alone. Her mother disappears, and it's just how they get back to reality and normality, and how you survive in the woods with beans, and how true love does actually show through, but not like true love that isn't like boyfriend girlfriend true love, just like family true love.
The next book I don't have in physical copy, so iPads are useful things. It is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I was honestly quite upset to find out that Evie hadn't read this. She doesn't really do like popular books.
No.
But you should, for a start.
I haven't read Twilight.
Okay, Twilight is understandable because many people don't like it. But this book is good. I like Twilight, but this book is good. I'm not sure I need to explain the story because most people know the story. But yeah, dystopian.
I know the story, I just haven't read it.
Fight for your life type of thing. It's really good. I really liked it, and you have to read it.
Okay, it's on my list. My next book is kind of a fantasy book, actually. I'm broadening my horizons.
I'm shocked.
Horizons widening.
I am genuinely very shocked right now.
It's Wings by April in Pike. It's a book about a girl who discovers that she's a fairy.
As you do.
Yeah, and how the whole series basically, there's 4 in the series. She goes to her fairy world where she originally came from because she's adopted and discovers the ways of the fairies. It's very good and maybe saves a few people along the way.
Okay, the next 3 books I have books that are in the series, but I don't have the first books in the series because I'm at uni and I don't bring them with me. But these
bookshelf's about this big.
Yeah, and these, you see my bookshelf. Shameless plug for other video, here. So I have the books in the series, but I don't have the first book. But I'm going to show you the books with the books in the series. The first one representing the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. I have 4 here. And it's a good series. It's a dystopian like my last one, and it was a very big series like the last one.
I also haven't read. Whoops.
Shame. Do you feel the shame?
I feel the shame. I can feel the shame from your YouTubers as well, so...
This is a really good series. A lot of people don't like Allegiant, but I liked Allegiant.
I heard people don't like Allegiant, worked in a bookshop, so got a lot of stick about that.
It's good. I mean, I'm not a fan of the dual point of view, but still, the book itself is pretty good, and so is Divergent, and it's a really creative and interesting story, so read it.
Okay, on my list also. The next one I have, as I've mentioned about 6 times, I used to work in a bookshop, and some of these in this book are very, very true. It's The Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops by Jen Campbell. I've had a few of these multiple times. It's a really good book. I've had lots of them said to me and others said to me as well, so I could probably fill my own book with things, but Jen does an amazing job of putting them all together and linking them, and I love it. It's just so funny. Really quick little quotes you can just read. It doesn't take you very long. It's not too much, not too tasking.
I've actually read this book. I bought it on the recommendation from Evie here, and I must say it is very good.
Yeah, it's so funny. It really is. It gives you a little chuckle.
My next book is a sci-fi romance type book thing. It's not a type of book thing, it is a book. The first one in the series is These Broken Stars, but I have got This Shattered World by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. And it's, oh my god, the first book was so good. And I'm 30 pages into this book. But yeah, the first book is about, it's kind of Romeo and Juliet-y, but in space, with a spaceship crash.
Excuse me?
Okay, she's like high up and he's like a soldier and they shouldn't fall in love.
Okay.
But
there's a spaceship crash.
Yeah, and they're like thrown together and they start off hating each other. Actually, it's more of a Pride and Prejudice, to be honest.
All the classics mixed into one.
Yeah, it's good though. You read it. Most of you probably have read it, it's just Evie. Again, do you feel the shame?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
My next book is one I absolutely love. I must have read this series about 6 times because it's a really easy read and I love it. It's Missing by Meg Cabot. The whole series is amazing. This one's the first one, When Lightning Strikes. It's about a girl called Jess. She gets struck by lightning and it turns out she can find missing people. Like people who have just gone wandering or people who have been missing for years. She is amazing at finding them and she dreams up where they are and then can help find them. She gets herself into some trouble and she meets a bad boy on the way, but I love the ending and it's such a good book.
Okay, struck by lightning doesn't sound good, but being able to find missing people sounds like a useful skill.
Yeah, it's a really interesting read, it's really good. I must have read them about a lot of times.
My next book, keeping within the idea of forbidden love, is Alienated by Melissa Landers. This book is about a foreign exchange student, but there's foreign and then there's foreign. He's from space.
That's rather foreign.
Yeah, that's very foreign. And he comes to an Earth school, and obviously, to quote Taylor Swift, haters are gonna hate. And stuff happens, and there's a girl involved, an Earth girl, naturally, hence the forbidden love.
I can't imagine what his reaction to coming to an Earth school is.
It'd be so weird.
I've been to Earth school and I think it's weird and I'm an Earthling.
So definitely pick it up, Evie, it's really good.
Sounds good. My next book is one of those old school ones which I seem to have been doing that today with quite a lot of the ones I read about 5 years ago. This one is I'd Tell You I Love You But Then I'd Have to Kill You by Ali Carter. I love this book. It's about a spy. She goes to spy school. Her mum is the head teacher of said spy school. It's about the adventures she gets on. Her aunt also works there at some point. The adventures she gets on learning all the spy techniques and how to do things. Again, boy involved. Apparently that's a running gag today.
It's a running theme, yeah?
Yeah. So there's a boy involved from an opposing spy school and it's the kind of forbidden love, but it's interesting what the antics they get up to with learning spy things. My
next book recommendation is more of a series recommendation. It is the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Meyer. I have one of the books in the series here. It's sort of like an additional book. It isn't actually one of the main books in the series. It's Fairest, for any of you who are curious. It's basically a fairy tale retelling in space. I seem to like the theme of space recently.
Yeah, what's with the space?
Who doesn't like space? But yeah, the first book, Cinder, is obviously Cinderella. The second one is Scarlet, which is Red Riding Hood. The third one is Cress, which is Rapunzel. And the fourth one is Winter, which is, I think, Snow White. And as a big fan of Disney and fairy tales,
Yeah, big fan.
You should read these. They're really good.
Sound good.
They're very, very good.
And my last book recommendation for Marie is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I love this book. It's about a girl called Kath who starts university. I read this just before I started university, so good timing. She starts university, she kind of feels a bit left out on her own. Her friends kind of all go off in different directions and kind of leave her alone. She writes fanfic for a series that Rainbow Rowell actually made up, which I think is actually becoming a book. I think she's making it into a book. I love it. It's just her story of growing up, basically. How Kath and her twin sister Ren, because you know Kath Ren, how they become, how they get along at university and how they become real people of the world.
That's cool.
Also, side note, Rainbow Rowell, I actually met her. She signed this book. She is such a lovely person, and if you ever see a signing that she's participating in, go along, because she is lovely. She did a whole talk about it, and then when my mum couldn't take the photograph for when we met her because she kept making it blurry, my mum's a technophobe, she took the camera off me and did a selfie with me, which I will treasure forever because it's a lovely memory.
Mm-hmm. My last recommendation for Evie does not have a cool story to go with it. I did not meet the author, mainly because she died
many years ago.
Yeah, way before I was born. However, I do really wish that I could have met her because she's a pretty good writer. To get you really out of your comfort zone, I thought I'd pick a classic this time.
I don't have any opposing issues to classics, I've just not got around to reading any yet.
So I thought I'd start with like a ginormous classic to recommend to you because it's like thick.
Why not?
It's a good story.
Dive right in there.
It is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is not only one of my favourite classics, but it's one of my favourite books of all time. The first time I read it, I was on a night shift in a hospital. As you do. It was quiet.
Heavy reading there.
Yeah. Well, I'd already read the whole hand washing policy for the hospital. No, seriously. 107 pages of it. Because I'm cool like that. It's a really good book. It is... Do I need to explain what it is?
I think I know the story.
Most people know it's a love story, obviously.
Most books are, in a roundabout way.
Sum it up quickly. She is not poor, but like her family is lower class. The guy is high class and he's a bit of a twit. Yeah,
fair enough.
That's basically the premise of the story. I hope you guys liked our recommendations to each other, and we will see you again. Well, I will see you again next time, and Evie will see you again sometime in the future.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Bye.
Bye. Just bounce.
Boing, boing, boing.
Okay. Boy involved from an opposing boy involved from an opposing spy school, because it's a girl spy school. Spice school?
You're having word issues
Spice
today.
school.
I just got Spice Girls in my head now.
Yes.
Do you like fairy tales?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like fairy tales.
I was just checking because I was going to say you
Once
like fairy
upon
tales.
a time.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
Cinderella.
I'm just
Disney.
Dude, chill! Okay, my next book is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is not Cinder, this is the spin-off I'm Attacking You. My next book is the Lunar Chronicles book series.
The book that she wrote. No. Let me do it again. That was all just a blabble. Yeah. Okay. So.
And then you accuse me of not speaking.
Don't talk about books very often like this.
Get your bookish together. Okay, I don't have quite enough. Well, my next book doesn't come with quite as a cool story as that. To be honest, nowhere near as cool as that. But I want to get Evie really out of her comfort zone with this recommendation.
Oh dear.
It's a classic.
I don't have any issues with classics. I've just not got around to reading any of them yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And my hand is like in front of it. Oh my god, fail. Should I do that again?
Yeah, I would.